Hi, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, filling in for Steve today on the Steve Malzberg Show. Newsmax contributor and host of The Right Side on Newsmax TV, who also happens to be a good friend of mine, Armstrong Williams is with us. Armstrong, it's great to see you, pal.
Hey, doctor.
You look good as always, man.
You made me blush.
I want to read out a few statistics to you, and I want to get your take on this. Black unemployment, 11%. Ages 16 to 24, 22%. Poverty rate, 27%. Babies born out of wedlock, 72%. Black homes headed by a female, 45%. Armstrong, I just got back from South Chicago and Detroit, and I can tell you that it is devastating to go through those streets. Why are we allowing that to happen in this country?
Well, you know, it is really a cottage industry for hustlers and for people who derive their power and their wealth by making a certain segment and a certain mindset of our society believe in grievance orthodoxy, that you're not responsible for your behavior, you're not responsible for your life. The government allows slavery over several hundreds ago, and yet it is still the reason why you cannot get a good job, why there's crime in your communities, why there's lack of education, why you populate the penal system. If you were to subject anybody, regardless of their race and socioeconomic background, to this kind of mindset, this is exactly what they would come. Look at the Irish at the turn of the last century.
Yeah, but wait. I don't want to look at the last century. I want to look at right now because I disagree with something you just said. When I was there, I spoke to many different people in South Chicago, and very dangerous. I mean, I walked into those places, they looked at me. Obviously, I'm not buying drugs. I wasn't a cop. I came in, they said, what are you doing here? And I said, look, I want to come in here and I want to try to help this community. What do you need? And what I got back from them was that only 10% of the community are the bad guys. The other 90% of people, they want to work. They want to go out and they want to make a life for themselves. But the problem is that the 10% is taking over the entire city. And I'm asking you, what can we do to fix that? I know you're now doing the business management of Ben Carson. What would Ben do to fix?
I'm not going to answer for Dr. Carson, but I will answer for myself.
What would you do? What are we going to do? Because I want to fix this community.
Listen, the president is his backyard, has made a decision that it's more important to maintain the favor of the power structure in Chicago instead of doing what is in the best interest of the people that he supposedly loved the most, everyday people. If Raul Emanuel, no different than Giuliani in New York, the mayor of Los Angeles, wanted to clean up crime, they would hold police officers accountable for their actions, for their behavior, and you would not have rogue police officers arresting people for one set of laws, yet not applying those set of laws to themselves. It is very difficult for law-abiding citizens to respect law enforcement officers if there's a different standards. There's too much corruption in the city of Chicago, and where corruption is rampant, it eventually spreads where it begins to have the kind of destruction and the kind of sadness that you saw when you were in Chicago. It starts with the mayor. What they need to do is get rid of the corrupt police officers, make those communities just as valuable as any other communities. Because what they're telling these people, you can kill each other and it's okay, but don't cross over in certain neighborhoods that commit the same crimes. They put the different value on life and a different value on neighborhoods.
All right, but wait a second, Armstrong, how much of this has to do with fathers just taking off?
Look, let me say this again.
I don't want to blame all the cops. I was with these cops. Not all these cops. These cops were good guys.
You just said 90% of them are good. People need help. They need to get the bad characters out of their neighborhoods. These guys control and reign in a lawless manner. They exact fear on people. They destroy their way of life. They destroy their communities. They destroy their families. If the police force were to work with those communities to get rid of those bad apples instead of sometimes being in cahoots with those bad apples, then people can begin to build those communities, build those families, and build those infrastructures back again.
Let me ask you this. We're waiting on word from Ferguson, Missouri. What do you think is going to happen in that area if it does not come to be favorable for some people?
The grand jury will not press charges, and the police officer will be acquitted, and there will be no violence, no riot, no protests, no deaths as a result, people will accept the verdict and move on.
So say you. Thank you, Armstrong. Up next, Newsmax Deputy Financial Editor Rob Williams.